sick. During the time of the apostles, after Jesus died and rose, the apostles were still performing miracles. But they believed that all those things, were for the purpose of, establishing the gospel. But now that everybody knows that Jesus Christ is, the Messiah, or people are Christians, that miracles don't happen anymore. So they don't believe that you and I can perform miracles. They think that miracles were meant to authenticate the apostles and the Bible. So the purpose of miracle is over. That's what they believe. But I will go to Randy Clark again. Randy Clark will say, when people understand the correct purpose of miracles, when they understand that miracles occur not to accredit correct doctrine, but as an expression of the gospel of the kingdom, then the system of situation is crumble. What does that mean? He's saying that people need to understand that doing healing is not just to accredit that this is a correct doctrine that we are doing. It is your way of expressing God's love to somebody. For instance, he gave us an example of where he went to minister in another country, and then he felt that God was saying that he should pray, for people through the night. And the pastor of that church said, that this thing will take the whole night. So the people are many. If you are praying for people, one power. If you see how they pray for people, I am learning a lot. The best that we hope for in praying for the sick around us here is okay. You just fulfill all righteousness. You just pray for the sick and go. It is in this school that I have learned that we are not just supposed to pray for the sick. We are supposed to heal the sick. Are you seeing the difference? We're supposed to heal the sick. So you're supposed to be on it and press it until you get healing. It's not that you still get 100% when you get. Hallelujah. Amen. So what I'm trying to say is that when they are praying, they don't just be healed and they walk away. No, they want to see results. So they stay on it. It is from there I learned that you can pray for a sick person, stand and pray for one person for 30 minutes. Sometimes 2 hours. So those steps that I thought about it that we're going through, that's how those steps are taught. So you do step 1, you go to step 2, you ask the person, you inquire from the person, you go on like that, you check. So as you are doing all that, and then sometimes there's improvement. You see, so you can ask the person on a scale of 100 to this, how are you feeling? Person say it's better. That means you should press on. So you see that kind of persistence is there. But what I was trying to bring out was that in a particular meeting, he prayed for somebody who had not been able to sleep. For 23 years, she had a terrible pain that prevented her from being able to sleep in the night. 23 years, she had not been able to sleep. Now, if this man was able to pray for that person and the person was able to sleep well that night, isn't that a show of God's love? Isn't that a show of the salvation that has come? Isn't that a show of he came to set the captives free, and he's using me and you today to set the captives free? And if this is what Jesus did and what he told, what the apostles did, then why should we essentially say that it has ended now? What is happening now? The Jesus that we're talking about is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The Holy Spirit that was upon us, that is our enablement to do healing. That Spirit of God is still in us today. He has not withdrawn the Holy Spirit. So we should still be doing healing. We should still be praying for people to get healed. Hallelujah. I hope that from today, even as we are here, before we leave this place, one of us or more of us will be moved to even pray for somebody's healing today. Hallelujah. Amen. Today. Say today. Today. Will you heal him today? Amen. Amen. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Of healing. Praise the Lord. Okay, now, I would say that here too, in Nigeria, we are not so familiar with New Age religion. Right? Except people like Yes. So we're not too familiar with New Age religion, but it is a religion that is rapidly taking up, the space in our world. But in doing this research, I now found out that it is here upon us. You know, when I was sharing with a friend of mine who is also into ministry, she just shouted, "It is upon us in Nigeria!" And then she invited me to come and speak at their meeting in November, this next month, for concerning it, to enlighten their members on New Age. So we're going to talk briefly on it today and how it kind of clashes with this our doctrine of healing, praise the Lord, or how it clashes with Christian doctrines actually, praise the Lord. So actually there are numerous practices today that we encounter, in our day-to-day life, and you look at those practices, they look harmless, right? We see a lot of practice, especially when you are saying that you are enlightened, you are civilized, you have a free mind, you don't want to be judgmental, you don't want to be intolerant. There are a lot of things that you will see, and in your mind you are looking at it, you are saying, this thing is not, there's nothing harmless, there's nothing harmful about it. But because I know a little about New Age and their practices, and through this my course, I now found out a lot of the things that they do. I now understand how they subtly use these practices that seem harmless to suck people into satanic practices. So I will first of all start with what we are familiar with here. We're not familiar with New Age, but something that looks like it that we're familiar with here is what we see around. For instance, we're talking about healing, so we base it on problems that border on healing. Somebody is sick, person has gone to the hospital, try to get cured of the disease, cure is not coming, and then somebody says there is a herbalist. They say he only uses herbs. He's a herbalist, he only uses herbs. Come, he can cure it. Sometimes you people that will say this one not be hospital. Oh no, this is not for hospital. This one is traditional medicine that will cure it. We hear like that, right? Yes. Now you go to that herbalist. The thing that they said is just herbs. The herbalist will first tell you that this thing I inherited it from my grandfather, who was the greatest native doctor in this community. Then how did your grandfather get it? It was the spirit of our forefathers that gave my grandfather this knowledge. Whoa, what is the spirit of our forefathers? Is this the spirit that we are carrying? Is it the spirit of God? Not at all. So then he's not telling you that this knowledge of these herbs, it is by the spirits of their forefathers that he's able to get that knowledge, and this person cooks these herbs and gives to you. What do you think has happened? There is that spirit that they use to get these herbs, and then they invoke the spirit, and they're even cooking the thing. They say, it is the spirit that make it work. They invoke it. You go and drink. You say it's just herbs now, and then you carry yourself and entangle yourself with those foul spirits. Praise the Lord. So that is in the ramification of somebody is going to a herbalist. Then we have it even in more bolder or more dangerous dimensions in other places. Some people don't even hide under herbalist. They will tell you that they have skills that their spirits have helped them to heal people. So I know that in Africa we are used to all these kind of traditional practices that intermingle, with all those things, and then they make people, to get entangled with foul spirits. But I know that we are not aware that this thing is invading the Western world. At least here in Africa we are careful, right? So I don't want to go to a herbalist place. I know that a herbalist, if you go there, you go and get yourself entangled with demonic spirits, right? So it is even after people started their business started dwindling. The church people now take more pride in going to church, that they started wearing clean clothes and then coming in different guys. They say tradomedical center. Exactly. You see, so this is a medical center to make it look a bit modern and refined, but it is still all those kind of hidden practices inside. So you will think that okay, this thing is prevalent in Africa. We are used to it. We see it in Africa. But who would you have known that this thing is invading the Western world? Have you ever? I know you know. Especially in places like Lagos, you see yoga centers a lot. Who knows what yoga is? We know what yoga is. Then I'll put up that yoga picture. Sorry? Yes. So, in the Western world, we see things, we have things like yoga, meditation, therapeutic touch. They are means that they advance for getting healing. That's somebody doing yoga. Are you not even seeing how the person is doing? They are invoking spirits. Can you imagine that somebody will bring this thing? Because it came from the Western world, somebody will bring it to Nigeria. You see our people, they will be yoga into it. I know, they will be yoga into. See that? So they'll say it is nature, wellness. So you will see these pictures now in front of a spa. They'll say yoga and spa, and then you will go. A woman of God shared with me how she went to a spa and for a massage. After the massage, in the night she couldn't sleep. So she said she could not sense demonic presence around her. She was like, "No, where did I get this contamination?" And then, as she was praying, she just knew it was happening. She went for a massage. I said, "But what was in the massage place that got you contaminated?" She said, "It's the music." So, in that massage, when you enter the massage room, like there's a kind of music. You see the music, and then they are. You see the music, and then you are hearing sounds of water running, and all those kind of. They say, it's cooling your spirit, but you don't know where what evokes those under what inspiration that music came from. So in the Western world now, they will tell people to go for alternative medicine. They say yoga, you will get well. Meditation, when you are doing meditation, what are you meditating on? Praise the Lord. Let me see if I can put a little bit of, because I know it is not sounding clear to you guys. I will tell you what I got when I was researching all this yoga and co. It is an approach that combines Eastern mysticism. Eastern mysticism is emanated from India, and it is mysticism. It's not a something that is clear. It combines Eastern mysticism and Western rationalism. Then they say it's used to understand psychological health and spiritual well-being. So they do all sorts of study on this thing. There's one they call meditation. What do you do? As you are sitting down and meditating, you are trying to invoke energies. You are trying to get certain energies to start working through you. The one I call therapeutic touch is very simple. You lay hands on people. So it's just the devil counterfeiting what God has told us to do. And we in the church are sleeping, we are saying we're not doing healing. Other people are stealing that method, because the Bible says, lay hands on the sick and they shall be well. Now somebody will come and carry another spirit and lay hands on somebody that is sick. He will tell you that he's invoking a higher energy from himself, and with that energy, he's putting that energy in that other person to make the person well. But what they are calling energy is actually demonic power. So it is what we call they're just making those powers to possess those other people. So as I was researching this new age, found that we have different versions of the new age, the society. It is a movement and it is moving very fast. And then why is it moving very fast? If they had come and said, oh, we're a religion, and then they come and open their own buildings, they say, okay, this is our church, this is new age church. Do you know they won't get so many people? Do you know how they are getting a lot of people? It is this healing. As you are seeing people walking on, people are sick. And medicine has not been able to help sick people. So the person is seeing that he has been sick since they are now telling the person that said, if through yoga, they'll part of their religion, all these Eastern people, most of them, they do vegetarian this thing. So you see, part of all these things now is that people obsess, they don't eat meat, they say don't eat this thing, you worship nature, so they worship nature. They say, so by the time you are doing this, you are close to nature, you worship nature, you do this, you meditate, you do yoga, you get healing. You see the person is jumping, and the person is saying, this thing is very, very innocent. There's nothing that looks harmful about it. Hallelujah. But again, what they propound most is that you get total human and mind and body wellness. You experience transformation. You experience a rebirth. And then what do they use? I talked about yoga. I talked about meditation. They also use what they call crystal. And that's like divination. They use what is called crystal. They do what they call fortune telling. They read cards, they read palms. All these things is an invocation of foul spirits. So you go into all these things, you get entangled. So in America, for instance, you see people, they get into this thing and then they come off worse than they were before. The funny thing, they may get temporary relief. Of course, that's how the devil operates. They will get temporary relief. And then after that, what will come is that thing that Jesus Christ said about the demon going to cause 7 more stronger ones. So they will now be worse than where they were before. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not even able to extricate themselves as fast as they entered. What do I mean? That's really that thing. So you think that it's only about yoga and meditation? No. They have an ideology that is very attractive to people we are seeing. Around. What I mean is attractive to young people. I was reading where a child who was brought up in a Christian home wrote to the mother and said, I'm no longer a Christian. And she's now joining New Age. And then the child started asking her mother some funny questions. Excuse me. She said that Christians, they are very intolerant. That New Age, that they accept everything. So one of the things that New Age religion propagates is that there is no God that is a personal God, that everybody is a God. So New Age will tell you that you are a God, everybody is a God, and that there's an energy within you. That's why they do all these meditations and yoga. That there's an energy within you that you can bring out when you do meditation and when you do yoga and some of all of their other practices. And then they grow in stages. So you will start, then they'll start teaching you certain things. So like when somebody starts with like normal meditation, for instance, you get to a place and now say, no, okay, the energy is increasing now. So you now need to get to another level. So they will get to, sometimes they get to levels where they isolate themselves from people. That time they start interacting with spirits. They do incantations a lot. It's a cult. They become mediums. So they become mediums through which those foul spirits cannot operate. So they grow in levels. So this child told the mother that New Age religion does not do this. There's no distinction. There's no discrimination the way people are saying in Christianity. And then I went on and started looking at some of the things, the questions they ask concerning Christianity. For instance, it is New Age people that started this. If God is really a loving God, why are people sick and why are people dying? And then they are not patient enough to come and to listen and hear what you have to say. God is not the God of this world. When Adam sinned, he handed over the earth to the devil. That is why Satan, when he came to tempt Jesus, he said, all these kingdoms of the earth I will hand over to you if you bow down to me, for it has been given to me. Now Jesus referred to the devil as the prince of this world. So there is the much that God can do on the earth. He has authority, but that authority has to channel through us. Remember that he gave it to Adam. So when Jesus Christ came and reclaimed it, he said, all authority, all power in heaven and on earth has been given to me, and I give to you. Praise the Lord. So you that is a believer is the one that he has given it to. But guess what? The prince of this world is fighting and doing all sorts to make sure that there is no orderliness on the face of the earth. And then New Agers will come. They will say, no, that if we love everybody and we take everybody as God, as equal, then we'll have peace. So what they are propagating is that they want to bring a world where there won't be sickness, there won't be discrimination and all that. Then how did it come? At least it came into America with a few people that came from India and co. So they just entered and they brought in those their beliefs and those their practices. And then the funny thing about New Age is that they don't really, like Christianity now, we have doctrines. So if you really know your scriptures very well and you are close to the Holy Spirit, there is something that can be handed to you. You say, no, I can't do this, I'm a Christian. So you know your boundaries. That's what I'm trying to say. We have boundaries. We know what we should do and what we should not do. It's not that we are under the law, but there are things that are against the God that we serve. For instance, things that border on holiness and righteousness. We know not to do certain things. But with New Agers, there is no boundary. They don't. Anything you want to put in their plate is what they put in their plate. And it goes. It depends on how you want to approach your people. That's how they approach them. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. So the thing is that it is actually like Hinduism that crept into the Western world. You know what Hinduism is, right? Is that religion that emanated from India. One of the things that they believe in is in karma. You know what karma is? Karma is that anything you sow, you will reap. Their own belief in karma is so deep that they will even tell you that. For instance, they believe that anybody that is poor now, that the person is poor because in his former life, maybe he was rich, he became poor. So he came back to become poor and suffer. I hear that the extreme one, they don't even help people who are poor because they believe that the person is living the life that he ought to live. So I read an article that said, what is New Age religion and why can't Christians be the same with them? And the article, the writer said that New Age people, they don't believe in evil. So they don't accept that people, for instance, we just talked about healing and sickness. And we knew that sickness, for instance, is contrary to God. That God did not mean for us to be sick. That in heaven there is no sickness, there is no disease. The original world that God created and put Adam in, there was no sickness in it, there was no disease in it. So we know that when somebody is sick, that it is contrary to what God wants for us. But New Age people, they don't believe that. They don't believe that it is sin that separates man from God and now makes all those evil to come. Instead, they will put the blame of evil on God. They say it's the one that created the world. It's the one that is making the evil to come. So they believe that the reason why all those things are happening, then you are forgetting your divinity. Remember, they believe you are God. So if you are sick, it is because you forgot that you are a God. So they want to teach you how to become God. You start by meditation. So when you are meditating, you focus your mind on a particular thing. So they first of all start by teaching you to focus. You focus your mind on a particular thing. They can tell you to focus your mind on your nose. That's your eyes on your nose like this for 1 hour. So you are learning to focus. So they will say, remove your mind from every other thing. So you are learning to focus your mind. Now, when I was reading this thing, I thought of something. You know, we Christians, they tell us study your Bible, meditate on the Word of God, try to focus. Many of us, we say we can't pray because we are not able to focus, right? There are a lot of distractions when we are praying. But a strange religion will come and ask people to focus their mind for 1 hour. They will sit down and focus their mind for 1 hour. So I'm thinking, what if we learn to remove our minds from distraction and focus our minds on Jehovah Rapha, the one that heals me? What are you doing? And focus my mind on the one who is my healer. Won't I heal others who are sick? Somebody comes with this kind of line, and then people are buying it, and they are going around with the person, believing what the person is saying. So they will tell you that you forgot your divinity, learn to meditate, learn to do yoga to achieve a higher consciousness of who you are. So that's why they do that meditation. So the more you meditate, because the truth is that, you know, they are counterfeiting what we should know from the Word of God. We know that we are spirits, right? Yes. So that's what they are trying to say, but they are contaminating it because the demonic has entered. So they are saying achieve a higher consciousness through meditation, through yoga, through crystals, through channeling, through spirit guides, and then you will awaken the God in you. So our young people, they hear this kind of things, they're like, oh, this is the way to go. When they are preaching to me and they are telling me that God is there, I shouldn't commit sin. And that if I commit sin, I am offending God. And somebody is here and telling you that you are a God, you can do what you like. You can commit fornication. You can commit adultery. You can just live as you like. Because you are a God. Just get a higher consciousness of your divinity and you can live as you like. That's what they are saying. That's why young people are running to embrace the religion. Now, we will look, because we're not seeing it so much around us here, but you know it's upon us, it's around us here. I went for a meeting, and, training actually. So on day 2 of the training, we arrive for the class, and the facilitator says, oh, there's something I do, and anytime I do it, it helps me to relax throughout the whole day. I'm not in a bad mood. I am not stressed or it just helps me to function, maximally for the whole day. I want to recommend you that you people will do it. And then, of course, it's a class, there's projector, there's all those things. So it switches off all the lights and then the music comes on. And I'm hearing that kind of music. And then the one kind of seductive voice like this is saying, close your eyes now relax your shoulders, and the music will play, then we say now do. So this new age religion has entered into our society so much that even we in Nigeria here, we cannot say that we are free from it. I went for a training and the man was telling us, was trying to introduce that practice to us. He said he does this thing every day, it helps him to relax, he's in a good mood for the whole day, So he put up everything and said people should start doing it. He put on the music, I was hearing the music. Like, okay, let me start writing what I'm writing. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because he was a Christian. So I was listening. Let me hear what they are saying. Then the man is saying, think of some 2 things that you are thankful for. So he's trying to arrange your mind. But I am careful because he's saying thankful for it. He didn't say that you want to thank God for. I'm very particular about such things. It's just like Americans saying they are celebrating Thanksgiving and they are saying, I'm thankful for. Who are you thankful to? Praise the Lord. Oh, yeah. Who are you thankful to? So I want to know before I will join you to say I'm thankful. Me, I know who I'm giving my thanks to. I owe my life to the person who is my creator, the one who came and died for me and gave his life to give me a life. That's the reason I'm thankful for. So when I say thank you, I say thank you, Jesus. So I was listening, I wasn't hearing any of those things. When it was obvious that it was this kind of thing they were doing, I got up and left the room. But as I was looking around, we had pastors in this class. I saw the pastors, they were busy closing their eyes and doing the same thing. So what am I trying to say? These practices, they come looking very innocent. So this man, like I'm saying, is a Christian and he meditates. And he meditates over the supervision of who I don't know. And then they started telling him things about watching the moon and all those kind of things. So he starts suffering. There's nothing wrong with appreciating nature, for instance, receiving fresh air, strolling around in the evening, looking at flowers, going to the beach. There's nothing wrong with that. But by the time you make that the center, of your very source, then it's funny. For instance, I like opening my window in the morning and looking in the sky and saying, God, I worship you. I thank you. You are so glorious. You created all this. Such wonders. And then I start appreciating God for that. But by the time you are looking at the things as if they created themselves, and then you are saying you are drawing energy from the flower, you are drawing energy from the water, then you are deviated. All power belongs to God. So, one of the things that these New Agers will tell you is that Christians are rigid, they are judgmental, they are irrational. And then they'll tell you that the boundaries that God gives us, like the boundaries I talked about, like something like fornication, for instance, that we know that in Christianity, you're not supposed to commit fornication, you're not supposed to defile yourself outside of the marriage. They'll tell you that it's irrational boundary. Remember, they are saying you are God. So if you are God, you can do with your body what you like. Why will one God somewhere come and tell you how to do with your body? Then if you are pregnant and you don't want the pregnancy, you can abort the baby. Why will one God tell you that you should not abort the baby? So if you look at yourself and you feel that you are feeling like a man, then you should, and you are a woman, you should do like a man. So these are the kind of things that they will tell you. So that's why young people will feel, New Age allows you to be God, allows you to be what you want to be. So, and one of the things that they have used to suck people in, before they start telling you all this, there are other beliefs, is healing. So when you are told that through their therapeutic touch, for instance, that you can get healed, through yoga you can get healed, then you come and start running towards things. So they tell you about wellness of the mind, wellness of the body, and then the alternative that they're even giving you seem to be honoring God. They're telling you not be eating animals, eat plants. Stay close to nature, meditate, and all that. So you are thinking, okay, this thing is not harmful to God. So you even find in the Western world now, a doctor can even say, have you tried meditation? So since medication is not working for you, can you try to meditate? If you do meditation, you can get healing. Have you tried yoga? Have you tried some natural healing? So you see that even doctors are now getting into it. Sometimes you find them in hospitals abroad. They will tell you that they have alternative remedies. Hallelujah. Amen. So, meanwhile, we Christians, we shunned the natural remedies that we should have harnessed. So, somebody was asking just now if you can take medication and still be praying and believing God. So, what we can say is that, for instance, we as Christians, even as we are praying, we are not like against, for instance, pure natural herbs. But if we shun all that, and we are facing, some Christians that are for like decisions that are saying don't even start looking for healing. God wants to save your soul is saved. Even if you are sick, take it as your cross. Yes, we have some, Christian sects that believe that sickness is your cross, that you should just bear. So if somebody in church is telling you that sickness is a cross, and then somebody is telling you come and do yoga and do meditation and get healed, would you run to them? So that is why we should propagate this healing through the blood of Jesus, through the finished work on the cross of Christ, praying for people to get healed in the name of Jesus. Because if we don't harness it, the other people want to be healed now. Nobody wants to be sick. And then God has given it freely to us. So why don't we explore what God has given to us? So it is not in doubt that these new age people, they reject Christianity. With all these things that they do, then they'll tell you that every path leads to God. You don't have to be a Christian to get God. After all, you yourself are God. So they reject Christianity. So what I'm trying to say is that we cannot say that this thing is the same thing, is nature, is God. No. So me, in doing this research, what has come to me, I came to an understanding that we are in very precarious times as a church. So what I have seen in doing this study, looking at the history of New Age and how they reject the church, I have just realized that we are in very precarious times. This New Age religion is not a friend of Christianity at all. Even though their practices seem innocent, they are not as innocent as they seem. So we need to be careful. My major concern as I look through this research is that young people are at a risk. Because what they practice, the practice of this religion, it looks so attractive to them. They see a lot of, leeways, from what the tenets of our faith. And then, like I said, what is giving them such an inroad is this solution that people are looking for. People are sick, they want to be healed. People are sick, they want to be well. And then somebody is suggesting all these, solutions to them. They will run around and get it. So what am I trying to say? Christians need to wake up. We need to wake up. Because the core of the beliefs of New Agers actually has raised a lot of skeptic questions about the very core of our Christianity. Do you know that one of their practices is the use of crystals? Haven't you seen a lot of cartoons that children are watching? And then you see the theme of the cartoon is that the cartoon character is a good person, is fighting evil. And then one of the things that he's using to do the magic of fighting evil is a crystal. So you see a child is already drawn that there's magic in using a crystal ball. And then tomorrow when somebody says, it's practicing New Age religion and they have a crystal ball, you won't question. You have watched cartoons where you have seen people using crystal ball to do good things, and then now they are saying that you need to use crystals also to achieve a higher consciousness and be like God and do good things. You won't see anything wrong with it. So it is a very subtle menace. So, in conclusion today, we are going to say that even though in our society we don't really have so much of New Age so it's not so obvious yet. It is subtly in our midst already. We have spas that say that they do yoga. We already are seeking that kind of wellness. We have all these alternatives subtly seeping into our system. So my challenge to Christians is that these ones are not alternatives. These ones are not solutions. We should wake up as children of God and do what we ought to do. God has already put the power in us. Jesus has given us the authority. He has given us the mandate to go and heal the sick, to go and cleanse the lepers, to go and pray for the blind, and then they will receive their sight. There is no need for us to look around. And then we can also use this as a tool of the gospel to get the good news to people. If you come to a place and say the blind will receive their sight, you are actually saying salvation is here. So if you are saying that salvation is here, then there is no way that New Agers or the New Age movement or the New Age religion can offer salvation to souls that Jesus Christ has already died for, souls who should ordinarily be for Christ. Thank you.